Good evening, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Heritage Gold Rush. And in today's episode, I want to do something a little bit different. I want to do a recap of the finds from 2024. Last year was a crazy year, and when I think back on it, it was actually a really long year, in big part to the number of adventures that I was able to get out and do. Big shout out to my wife for allowing that. To any of you who are married and have hobbies like gold prospecting or rock hounding, anything like that, you know that it actually does take a toll on your family, because as much as we want to get out, they wish we were at home with them, and rightfully so. So without further ado, I just want to share with you guys some of the things that I found last year. Not all of them are gold. As you know, I like to do park and relic detecting as well, and a little bit of rock hounding. And as you can imagine, I come across some interesting things while I'm out in the field and in the mountains hiking around and exploring. So let's take a look at what I found, and I'll kind of break it down for you. Well, before we jump right into it, I guess I should do a little promotion for my business, Heritage Gold Rush. If you're interested in getting a metal detector or prospecting equipment, maybe you need a new pan or a sluice box or something like that, I highly recommend you go to my website, heritagegoldrush.com, and check it out. I sell things like this. These metal detectors are all things that I sell, and a number of other products ranging from Gary Two Toes crevicing tools all the way to ProLine dredge equipment. As you can see here, I just recently picked up a 2.5-inch dredge high banker combo for myself. So I carry a little bit of everything. I've got, metal detectors, crevicing tools, sluice boxes, you name it, I got it. So now that we've got that part out of the way, let's jump into some of the cool things I found. So starting early last year, it was when I first got my Manicore. And this was before I started my business, because I started my business in April of 24. And I went to Hawaii probably a week after getting my Manicore. And one of the first things I found was this Irish Collada ring. So this is a ring given as like a symbol of friendship, or it could be to signify a commitment to a loved one or a spouse or a partner or something like that. Of course, I was really excited to find this, but to my dismay, when I inspected it further, as you can see, it's a little corroded. I discovered it was actually gold plated. So I like to count it as my first gold object, because technically it does have some gold in it, but it's gold plated. Shortly after that, I would say that I picked up on the Manicore pretty quickly, and it was silver rings that I kind of honed in on next. This was the first silver ring that I found with it, followed by, I think, this guy. This was an interesting piece. The happy, sad theater faces. I thought that was kind of a cool, interesting ring. And that's something that I enjoy about metal detecting, is you really never know what's going to pop out of the ground, right? And then I found this one not that long after. This was a really cool find. So this was a 925 sterling silver Avon ring that dates back to the 70s, and it's, as you can see, got a Marquise garnet for the stone. And this is probably one of the cooler rings that I found. Even though it's not gold, I just really liked the way this ring looked. Super beautiful. I had my grandfather polish it up and clean the stone, and I gave it to my wife as a gift, and she's so nicely letting me borrow it for this video. But that was a really cool find. That rang up pretty high, like somewhere where a dime would. Silver dime wood. Let's see, here's some other rings I found actually kind of recently towards the end of the year. There was this one. I think I showed this one in an earlier video. Like a sterling silver ring with a cool agate cabochon on it. And this was one I actually found not that long ago too. And this one was kind of throwing me through a loop. It's not stamped. I've done a bunch of different tests on it, including the little bleach test where you see if it turns kind of black. I don't know if you can see that black area, kind of darker staining on the ring, but every test I put this through indicated to me that this is silver. I'm not sure about the setting around the stone, but as you can see, It's a transparent stone. So I think this thing is silver. I don't know. Either way, it's kind of cool. I'm going to keep it in my pile. And then the next thing, what are some other things I found? So these are interesting. This is something I never really posted about. And I actually just saw somebody post on the Sacramento Valley Detector Buffs Facebook page about finding one of these, and they thought it was silver, just like I did when I found the first one, which was this. But there seems to be a wave of these fake Indochina coins going around the Sacramento area. So for all of those who don't know, my business is not my 9-to-5. I'm actually a garbage man for the county of Sacramento. And on our garbage trucks, we have a little clean out area that at the end of the day, we have to remove all the debris that gets built up behind our packing blade on the truck so that the machine operates smoothly the next day. And I was cleaning out my trap one day, the clean out trap, and I saw this coin fall to the ground. And of course, I got really excited when I first saw it because I thought it was silver. Well, it wasn't until I got a chance to give it a little further inspection that I realized this thing is not real. The denomination doesn't match the date and the weight isn't quite right. So I thought that was really interesting. And then maybe like a month later, I'm at McKinley Park in East Sacramento and I get this signal and I pull it out, and you really couldn't have believed how shocked I was when I discovered this other coin that's the same size and, general makeup as the first one I had found. A different date, 1937 as opposed to a 1917, but this really got my curiosity peaking as to what was going on that I'm finding these coins in two completely different areas in Sacramento. And then weirdly enough, maybe like 4 months ago, like September, October, I was cleaning out my truck again and I found another one of them, but this one's a 10 cent. It's a smaller one, obviously still counterfeit, but really weird. And then after seeing that person post just this evening about finding one themselves, this is really a mystery that I would like to figure out what's going on. So some other items I found that are cool, and I've got a ton of other stones and rocks and things I come across, but I thought this was probably one of my favorite quartz crystal finds of the year. Just all those little terminated crystals together. I just really enjoy finding crystals. I know quartz is probably one of the most common elements on the planet, or composition of the most common elements on the planet. But I always enjoy finding a nice quartz crystal or a little aggregation of them, like this little piece right here. And then another cool stone I found, and this is super common as well, but this is ironstone. So this is basically iron ore. When you find black sand when you're prospecting in your pan or your sluice box, it's essentially this type of rock that's just been ground down into a little sand, a little powder. So this is actually a magnetic rock. And if we take a second here, magnetic. It's because it's predominantly made of iron, which of course, being ferrous, is magnetic. So I thought that was a cool find. And moving on from the stone, actually one more stone. This is the only piece of amethyst that I've ever found. It was on the South Yuba, which I've never really ever found much amethyst, if at all. And I was digging out a crevice one day and I saw this little piece in my pan and I just had to take it home. So you can see it's got a little bit of that amethyst right on the end. And that's a cool one. I like that. But moving away from the stones, getting to the gold, the good part, as I know many of you are waiting for. This was a bracelet that I found in June of last year and was on the beach in Carmel by the Sea, to be correct. And it was kind of in the water line, and as the water was receding from the shore, back and forth, as the waves go, I got this signal. It was a solid 22, 23 on my Manicore. And wouldn't you know it, this bad boy popped out, and I can say that was a really good day. Nothing beats finding a little gold with your detector, whether it's up in the foothills or on the beach or at the park. And so that was a cool day. And then this is just some of the gold that I found. These are all the bigger pieces that I detected this season when I was at various places prospecting. I couldn't tell you specifically where each piece came from. Actually, this one I did not find detecting. This one was found sniping. That was a really cool piece. It was almost about a pennyweight. But, I mean, a lot of really interesting pieces. This one came off of the claim that I actually bought into this season with Blue Lead Productions, Tim and Gary Two Toes, and the Mine in Hawaiian, JC the Mine in Hawaiian, one of my good friends. And just a lot of nice pieces this season. I didn't really do a final weigh-up video. I did, I want to say, roughly 70 grams this season. Probably about 50 of which actually came from sniping. So a little more on the sniping side, but these are mostly detected pieces. And there's some cool ones in here, I gotta say. That was a sniped piece as well. Some of them, like this one, is like a little piece of electrum if you look at it. It's got like a weird silvery hue to it. But yeah, it's been a good season for gold, you know. And I also found this, actually, this is technically cheating because this was on the 2nd of this year. So that's not from this year, or I'm sorry, this wasn't from last year, but I just had to include it because I thought it was so cool. And that's that Santa Muerte pendant that I found at the park on the 2nd of January. And this thing is 14 karat gold, is stamped right there. And it's just rad. A lot of people have been saying it's a bad omen, but, you know, I don't believe in that kind of stuff. So, whatever. And then we've got your usual silver dimes and silver coin suspects. Let's see, this year, apparently a lot of people say this is a bucket list item, but this was something I found probably only a couple of months after getting my Manticore, which was a 1903 V-nickel. Thought that was cool. You know, going back, I probably wouldn't clean these things. Just a word of caution to people. I know coin people always tell you don't clean the coin because it ruins the value, but I would say if some light restoration work makes the coin more visually appeasing to you, then do your thing. But I tried doing this vinegar hydrogen peroxide clean on the coin, and it did get all the patina and, you know, corrosion and stuff off. But a lot of the times when these coins have been sitting in the ground so long, when you clean them, it actually will ruin some of the detail, because a lot of that detail is basically sitting there as patina, or that, you know, green color that happens to get on the coins after they've been sitting in the ground a long time, especially nickels. This was a silver war nickel that I found this year, a Philadelphia. I believe it was in 1943. That was really cool. These are kind of hard to find because they ring up like identical as a pull tab. So if you don't like to dig pull tabs, you're probably not going to stumble across a wartime nickel, but they're out there, especially at some of the older grounds. And honestly, I find that it might actually be a little bit easier to find those at some of these really hunted grounds, just because a lot of people don't want to dig that pull tab signal. So that was really cool. In the pendant right here, and this is the pendant I bought, but this was actually the first. Was this the first? No, this was the second Merc dime I ever dug. I dug this one here locally at Mather Air Base. Feel free to go hit it up if you want. I've detected the hell out of that place. But that was really cool. And then I also found, let's see, I think I have one somewhere else, but I found 4 or 5 different Roosevelt silver dimes this year, and a half Merc. And then a little silver pendant. That was really cool. A couple other silver rings I didn't already discuss, which is, this was an interesting one. I found this one at Southside Park, and that's a sterling silver ring as well. So, you know, the sterling stuff's common because people buy it, and you know, they drop it. It's not terribly expensive, so people aren't really too upset if they lose stuff like that. And I thought that was cool. It's like a Celtic knot ring, so that was a cool find. And then we've got some various non-gold or silver related little relics that I personally treasure. Little suspender clips, and, you know, brassiere. This is like a little brassiere clip or something like that, and some various buttons, mostly probably from the late 1800s to early 20s and stuff like that. This is a little suspender clip, or I think it was a clip for a women's leggings. That's like a little Levi's rivet, or that one is for sure. And yeah, just some cool little buttons and things I found along the way. And you know, oh, this was a cool one too. Got a couple of these Sacramento City Lines tokens. I found this at the same area where I found that Liberty nickel, and these were used for the Sacramento City Lines company in the, I believe, the 40s and 50s in Sacramento. So you could use these to ride one of their trolleys or later on their buses. And this right here, this is Dylan. Shout out to whoever Dylan was, or maybe he's still alive. I found this in a Coinstar cleanout. And this is why I always check the Coinstars, guys, because stuff like this, it's there. And same thing with that silver bead. That was a Coinstar cleanout as well. You know, wasn't found prospecting or detecting, but I still count that as treasure hunting because that's kind of my thing. And this one, so I actually didn't find this last year. I found this last weekend at Bodega Bay. And I was a little confused by this. I thought maybe it was one of those tags they put on the birds so that when they die and you find them, you can report them. I didn't really think too much of it until I got a chance to clean it up and look at it. But Daniel's Chapel, Santa Rosa, California, with a little serial number on it. And spooky, but this is actually a cremation tag. So I'm guessing somebody got cremated and their loved one went to spread their ashes down on the beach and didn't realize that this tag was still in there and dumped it as well. It's hard to say how long that thing has been sitting out in the beach, but I thought that was kind of weird. And actually, I have some weird luck with finding body parts. No, I'm just kidding. With finding things associated with the remains of people or with people in general, because last year, actually, I did discover a lead crown. I don't have it sitting here, but I've discovered the lead crown from somebody's tooth on the beach in Bodega Bay, which was really interesting. I actually did keep it because I just thought it was kind of a once-in-a-lifetime find. Like, how often do you really find someone's crown to their tooth? And then this ring, big shout out to my friend Chad Pierce. This ring was actually made by my buddy Chad, and it is 18 karat gold. So he took a lot of my pickers that I found this season, and he melted the smaller ones down and alloyed it so those 18 karat, and made a channel ring out of it. And then he inlaid the channel ring with little mini pickers and little mini nuggets that I had found throughout the season. And this one is mine, but he made one for my wife as well. So I would say a good portion of my gold actually from the season went to making those rings and things like that. But yeah, just kind of a quick little summary of some of the cool things I found throughout the season. Oh, yeah, some part in the season, probably in like April, May, before it really started getting warm enough to get into the mountains, I was kind of exploring down in the Cosumnes River area, and that area is known for garnets. And this is a whole bunch of little tiny garnets that I found in when I was sluicing and panning down there. Nothing crazy, but still, you know, I always like finding a garnet, those cool little red colors and things like that. So yeah, I mean, to any of you who are interested in getting out and exploring the natural world around you, there's just limitless possibility for cool things to discover along the way, as you can see here. And I highly encourage you all to just get outside and just get into something. Go metal detecting, go prospecting, go rock hounding, go hiking, go explore old mining camps and things like that. There's so much cool stuff out there just waiting to be discovered and explored. And if any of you are interested in doing something like that, another shameless plug for my website, but I offer guided gold prospecting trips and metal detecting lessons. So if you maybe want to go out and gold prospect for yourself, find a little gold and get the experience of the old timers, feel free to go to my website or just give me a call directly. My number is 916-833-7178. And I'd be more than happy to arrange a nice trip for you. We can get you on some gold, or maybe finding some cool relics, or just learning how to use a metal detector. Because like I said, I sell metal detectors and I love metal detecting. So if that's something you might be interested in doing, hit me up and check it out. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Cheers.